Welcome to Tuesday morning, Tuesday day. We're gonna see what we got. We're gonna be here just trying to stay warm and toasted. So we're gonna get on this just a second. Took a little time. I'm still working on some kinks, so let me get this thing together. Probably be on for an hour. It's definitely something. So we're gonna get into conversation. Okay, got this thing started up. So let me get them back on here real quick. And we're gonna do this. We're gonna get on here real quick. Start this off real quick. How you, how you doing? How you doing? Just getting come back in real quick. I got to send out these streams, so don't be alarmed if you see the thing spinning. I'm just sending out everything. Hold on just a second. So we are live today. Hope everybody's doing all right. What's happening? What's happening? How you doing? How you doing? I just sent you the notice to let you know that I'm on here. I'll be on here for an hour. So gotta go out for a walk today. I gotta get out, but I'm gonna be on for an hour. And I thought I'd send you a note, let you know I'm on here. I'll be on uh today and tomorrow. And after that I'll be back on Sunday. I'm gonna take a few days after that. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So tomorrow we back on Sunday. I've done quite a few live streams, and so everybody who wants to be down, you can watch the streams and you can send me a note. But I'm gonna take a few days just to chill because I've been doing quite a bit of live streaming. So anyway, we on here. Today's question is: should Eddie Murphy do one more stand up? His documentary just came out. People have a lot of fanfare about it, and so just asking a simple question: do you think he should come back with another one? And be curious as to what people think, how they feel about it. He talked about maybe it, so we'll see. But anyway, hope everybody's doing good. It feels very seasonal. I know that people are definitely getting in the spirit, and yeah, you can definitely tell that people are definitely in their, in their moments. I've seen some people with decorations up and so on and so forth. So we're gonna see if people have a good spirit. If you happen to be watching, please do me a favor and hit that like button, and feel free to take the poll question. And if you want to come in here and give comments, feel free to do. I'll welcome it. I hope everybody's doing good. Don't ask me about last night's football game because that was horrible. Yeah, somebody had to win that mess. Listen, I got a story for you. The Coreys, I watched Corey Feldman and Corey Haim movies left and right. As a matter of fact, um, I was watching that movie that they did back in '89 where he was dressing like Michael Jackson and dancing. But Mike Myers in a blowout. I like Corey Feldman personally, but Mike Myers in a blowout. It's no contest. That's I like Corey Feldman. It's like a personal thing. I like Corey, but no, that's not even up for discussion because Mike Myers, in some ways, is like the underappreciated version of Jim Carrey. He's had quite the impact. Uh, mm, you beat the Raiders. You want a cookie? I mean, come on now, give me a break. The Raiders, they stink. Geno Smith and Pete Carroll must got the biggest con going in the NFL. You got to be kidding me. I think he felt betrayed. I think he felt that Michael switched on him. He never said anything about Michael per se where it would be more than it was, but they fell out though. I have it on good authority because it was during the 2001 9/11. Before that, you suck. I give you a joke. Somebody had to win that mess. Yeah, because you make Dak look like I talk to Cowboy fans, real Cowboy fans, and they're like, they mad at the Raiders. They're like, why y'all make us look like that? They don't like that game. They knew they were gonna go in there and win. That was vacation. That was some gambling money. If they don't beat the Raiders by 2 touchdowns, then you know they suck. I mean, come on now. The Raiders were only 6-3 was the only time the Raiders had a chance. I mean, it was embarrassing. They've already tanked. They quit. Geno's taking a real dive. I don't know who his dealer is, but he's definitely taking dives. So they stink. And Tom Brady, he gonna lose money. I don't know what he gonna lose money more, playing Giselle Bundchen or the Raiders, because they both take L's. I mean, really. Do you think the Browns beat them this weekend? Do I think the Browns beat the rate beat who this weekend? The Browns play the Raiders. Is that what you're saying? Do the Browns play the Raiders? Because I don't keep up with scrub teams. I'm sorry, I don't do scrubs. So you're telling me the Browns playing the Raiders? Miles Garrett will get no love from me. He could have left. They should. Shoot. Because they should have beat Baltimore. Dude don't drop that ball in the end zone. As bad as Shador looked in spots, dude should have caught that ball. They should have won that game. You know. But, Cleveland's coach is whack. They lame. They should have won that game. Oh, wow. At least nothing. He has been racially segregated. He's been definitely been whiteballed. What you mean get some time? Shoot. They should have been had him out there. They know good and well Joe Flacco wasn't gonna be for long. And Dan Gilbert is nothing to ride home about. He's a third tier quarterback. Shador should have been out there. Ain't no should nothing. It was embarrassing. He been racially targeted. Shador has been. Because he should have been playing. And I take it personal. His name was Shador Jones or something. I don't think he goes through the half of it. But having that last name of Sanders, yes. So I don't wish Cleveland no luck. And Miles Garrett gets the side eye from me. Are you kidding me? As bad as you is, and you still stuck in Cleveland, man, you should have gone somewhere, took money, and you'd have gotten you a ring. You bad. You up there just playing in just because you got paid. Just embarrassing. So no. That's how I look at it. Anyway. Cleveland should beat the Raiders, though. Anybody should beat the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders might not win another game the rest of the year. It's a shame. It's a shame because they've had some talented people. They just can never get that quarterback position right. But this is self sabotage right here. So I don't feel sorry for them at all. But the Raiders are embarrassing. I mean, that was just pathetic last night. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. They were already compromised before Deshaun got there. They have been going. They played Brock Osweiler not to come there when he left Denver, if you remember. So they've had a big old help wanting sign of quarterbacks for years. Deshaun's problem, which wasn't all his fault, he got suspended. He lost 2 years of his career. 1 year I understand. The second year I didn't understand. How the heck you think he gonna come back to 2019 when he been away? And and he had nothing to work with. So he's one of them what ifs, though. He's one of those what ifs. Deshaun Watson is a what if. I don't think the cat finesse nothing because how you finesse something when you go to Cleveland? That's not finesse. That's not an upgrade. You got the bag, yeah, but finesse. That's a bit of a because they're not exactly a hotbed where people are like, oh, let me go to Cleveland. I think in Kansas City will win that game. If Kansas City don't win that game, then it is the end of Kansas City. If Indianapolis wins that game, I'm going to say something bold. If they beat Kansas City, they're going to the AFC Championship game. I don't think nobody will stop them. I'm going to make that bold. The Crystals, if I'm going to go that route. The Crystals. I just, it's a huge game because it's Kansas City season, really. They can only afford to lose one game. I'm going to say over 49. I think it's going to be a bar burner. And to be honest with you, if the Colts win, then Saquon Barkley should get, I'm not Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor should get MVP because it's the game where he'll show out. Daniel Jones, probably his most important game. This is home field right here. You win that game, you're ahead of New England, you run. If you lose that game, and I'm one of those people that still says this, if Kansas City finds a way to get in the playoffs, nobody wants to have to face them. They still the big bad bully that you know that's going to come get your lunch money. What's happening? Oh, Confunction. What's up, Calvin Jackson? We're going with Confunction on that one. Electric Lady, you are the one. And I didn't really like too many of their cuts after 82, 83, but Electric Lady was bumping. Because I had that Greatest Hits Part 2, but that one was a bumper. And that Electrophonic Jerry Curl Funk, yeah. I did like I Surrender, but no, Confunction had the jam on that one. And they were a better band, too. Even though Babyface is a bigger artist, there's no question about it. But if we're going strictly band to band, Confunction is what I call a high second tier. The deal is what I call a high third tier. Confunction got the edge. Even though two occasions is probably hangs with most of Confunction's catalog, but Confunction still was a better band. So, good question though. Yeah, I think the Indy KC game is going to be a heavyweight fight. And if I'm Kansas City, you don't make no mistakes. You got to come out and play good football. You got to get it. If you don't get it, you're done. You could go ahead and go on vacation because you're not coming back if you lose that game. And like I said before with Kansas City, they just can't finish like they did, for a reason. This year, they're not able to finish the one score games. If they won half of the one score games this year, those cats would be probably no less than third seed right now. Imagine they win 3 of those games. They third seed. They can't do what they did last year, and it's telling. So, but if they can get their hands on Tyreek in the offseason, all it takes is a couple of pieces to get them back. Anyway, do I think the Eddie Murphy thing with the poll? I think Eddie will. Obviously, people say come back. I think so. The Netflix thing didn't. The documentary didn't really do no more than what we already knew. We knew much about Eddie already. We already know. Anyway. All right, now let's come on here. I need some conversation because I'll be on here. It all depends on how many conversation we get. If I get some real conversation, I'll be on at least an hour. We're gonna be on at least an hour today. Coming back tomorrow, then I won't be back till Sunday. So let's see if we can get people to come here and hit them likes up, hit them polls up. If you're in here, feel free to give me conversation. Let me know where you're coming from, what you're into, how's your day going. You feeling festive? What you feeling? This one with Eddie Murphy one because that's pretty simple and he's bubbling right now. So let me add these things real quick since I'm on here. So people want to know. Okay. Joanna. I did not like Ooh Baby at all. It just sounded like album filler. The bass was cool, but it didn't really go nowhere. I think it was a lame cut. And when I think about Time slow jams, it's one of their worst ones, if you're my honest opinion. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And keep on coming. I like Joanna for the horns and the groove. It's middle of the road, but it has that dot dot dot. Pendergrass or Otis Redding? It's Otis. Because Otis Redding was raw, soulful. Pendergrass had what I call progressive cuts, but Otis was a songwriter and had the grooves and the guts. So I got to go with Otis. Otis was a bad dude. Oh well, see, we different there. You remember in Purple Rain when they did Jungle Love? You remember how that starts off? They did the vamp, and then it goes into Jungle Love. They did Girl because it goes. I never did like Oh Baby. I thought it was too slow and boring. Girl, I like the vocals. Prince was tearing that note in the back, or Morris was straining. Girl, can I say to make you stay? They was trying to get that cut, that high note in the background. But I like the groove of it. Mario, of course. Nobody likes Ray J. Mario had a good voice. The only problem is Mario had no personality. Looking like Chris Rock didn't help you. And you didn't have, no personality. If you had Ray J's personality, you may have had a Cisco run. Just didn't have it. As far as acting, the best, Tay Diggs was more of a leading man. Tay Diggs was more of a leading man. Omar Epps had roles, but Tay Diggs had more leading man. So I got to give it to Tay. Because Omar always struck me like he was trying real hard. And he had some decent roles, but he was a sidekick cat. Tay Diggs to me had better chops. The only thing I like about Omar Epps is what he did Love and Basketball. I loved him and Shania's chemistry. Shania. Shania Latham. But other than that, he had a chance and he just didn't get the right roles. I liked him in The Wood. I got movies I like Omar Epps in. I like Teddy, but he ain't beating no Otis Redding. He ain't beating him. Because Otis was gut bucket soul. And he was funky and he had that groove. You know. You asking me, I'm telling you my take on that. And I like Teddy. Teddy was catchier, but Otis had the cuts though. Okay. Well, Otis Redding's before Teddy, so you really have to be. No, I don't think I think it's just a matter of preference. That's all. And when you put those two together, I probably listened to more Teddy's songs, but Otis Redding moved me more though. Cause and he was funky too. He was funky. Cause he do that gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Do you like New Orleans jazz? Yes, I do, because it's the mecca of jazz. You know, if you go back to Jelly Roll Morton, the Marcelluses, all that, uh, class act. But I don't get excited about neither one of them, though. I don't consider neither one of them classics, but I take class act. Uh, I'm gonna go with Gene Chandler. Larry was over the top with that one. One in a million. You. Hey, it was decent. He was trying to get his Lionel Richie on, and it was decent. Black people started jazz. Please, before you come on here, do me a favor. Google stuff, read stuff, research stuff. Please don't say stuff like that because it come across like you really are just trying to start stuff that you really. Yes, they do jazz, but black people started the creation of it, formation of it. Please do your homework. Okay? Ain't nobody that new or that young where they don't research things out. Okay? I like to have a caliber of intelligence where it feels like you're on a page where when you say something that you can articulate it because it just doesn't come off too good to say stuff like that. Yes, you've always had jazz musicians that were black and white, but black folks created the jazz or genre of jazz, bebop and everything. Mm-hmm. Because if people do it, then obviously black people started, especially in music, and most of music had ties from black folks. Every style of music black folks have had a hand in. They've just whitewashed everything. Okay. Okay, let's get some conversation going because we can't be. Mm, all right. On the radio. I do like Love Hangover, but on the radio. I like the way that song syncopation goes. I love the syncopation of it. Love Hangover was an answer to Love to Love You too. Out of those two, I think Melinda Williams, because I think Nia Long always tries it like she's doing too much. And sometimes it looks like she's in a kick with it. I'm looking forward to the Katherine Jackson role. Because I think as long as she's been around, she's long overdue for some shine. Lord knows she had to play second fiddle to Halle for a long time. If there wasn't for Donna Summer's Love to Love You, there wouldn't be no Love Hangover. I'm telling you. Donna Summer made her have to step her game up, but on the radio was just a smooth cut, and I love the vamp and the chords. Truth is, she kind of had the solo career that Donna Ross wish she had of in a way, because Donna Ross went to more of that style. She just didn't have the goods, you know. Donna Summer was bad. But anyway, it's fair enough. All right, let's get some more conversation going. Again, it was inspired by Love to Love You. Just call it like I see it. And I did like Love Hangover, but on the radio I had a groove about it. Okay, let's get some conversation going. So we got Vivica. And I'm not all that impressed with the combination, but Vivica. Gabrielle Union pretty much plays the same role. And she's suffering and she gets neither one of them really do much for me though. I think once upon a time Vivica had a chance to actually be a second tier actress, but she settled for a lot of mediocrity, ain't going nowhere. And Gabrielle, that's all she does. So they both mediocre. So it's tough for me to write really, when you say versatility, because neither one of them ring the bell. Vivica had a chance. Ghetto Life, come on now. Uptown was a cool song, but Ghetto Life was like that groove, that bass, those drums. And I like Uptown, but Ghetto Life hit me harder more. Stockton didn't make Malone, and Nash didn't make Amari. I'm gonna break this down like this: Stockton and Malone complemented each other. Because if you're a point guard, you're only as good as who you're dishing the ball to. Well, if that's the case, Karl Malone was an MVP. What was Amari Stoudemire? He had an outer body. So this is how I look at it. Karl Malone had a body of work, and Amari Stoudemire had a moment in time. Big difference. No one puts Amari Stoudemire in the same conversation with Karl Malone. Athletic talent, but he didn't have Karl Malone's depth. If Nash won 2 MVPs to Stockton zero, so explain that away. That's why that's not a good argument. Because wouldn't Amari Stoudemire been an MVP? And his best year was 2005 when they took the Spurs 6, 7 games and they lost. What's up? How you doing? You know, what's happening? How you doing? Stockton made Malone what he'd have benefited too. He didn't. And he's a better player than Steve Nash. Karl Malone's a better player than Amari. So that's what I got for it. Steve Nash can have 15 MVPs. He ain't better than John Stockton, which just goes to show you that awards don't really carry the kind of weight because nobody's going to take Steve Nash over Stockton unless they related to him and they on their payroll. Other than that, it's not even up for discussion. But having said all that, Stockton didn't make Malone. Fake. I like Vacation and I like that synth based funk, but Fake was a better song. And I remember Vacation. It's funny you mentioned that. I had his records. Chris Paul's getting cut. Nash 2-time MVP. Jason Kidd was better. And Tony Parker was clutch. See ya. So Wendy Raquel's the one that was on the Steve Harvey show. She doesn't really do much though to compare to Kerry Washington though. See, that's the thing. And she had more than just TV credits and a few things. I don't feel a lot of depth there. So I gotta say Kerry Washington by default. I think Wendy Raquel is talented, but Kerry was more. You kind of had a question mark because she had been bigger. So might not be fashionable to say, but I got to keep it 100. I mean, I don't think neither one of them get their full due because they get typecast. But if I had to pick, I'm gonna say Kerry. Yeah, CP3 is getting cut first, y'all. The other three guys got more credentials and more impact. If he had a won that ring against Milwaukee, he probably it'd been hard for me to argue. He'd be right there with Kidd and would have been ahead of Nash. But without no jewelry and he ain't had the kind of impact, no, he's not in an argument with those guys. There was no messaging above the rim. Above the rim is don't do nothing under the table, even though everybody does it on the table. He got game had more inspiration. That's a funny question because I never looked at neither one of them as inspiring, but he got game. I never heard it described with both of those. Above the rim was very street level, which I've seen, and actually the thing about Dwayne Martin's character, it made me think of Allen Iverson so much because it was so much similarity. But I'll use that for a future video though. Because I'll use it. I'd never even thought of it like that. I think that you know, with he got game, you saw a lot of intricacies, certain things. No, no. He just been playing long enough where he's stat pads, that's all. He's nowhere near neither one of those two guys. And this is where we run into the problem of when guys score a lot of points and they play a long time. And somehow do I sit there and I think, oh well, I'm gonna put them there. They're not there. Mm-mm. Johnny Cash. That song carries more. Neither one of them. You're let me stop you right there. Neither one of them. Because Dangerous Minds was nothing more than a hip hop version of To Serve With Love. And we seen To Serve With Love. They done 99 ways to bring that element back. Higher Learning was all over the place. It was a mess. Tyra Banks had no business being in the movie. Uh, the only thing that I took from Higher Learning, which I will apply, was the role played by Michael Rappaport, because he really was that character. I thought it was too jangled. I thought it was trying to do too much. I went to go see it when it first came up, and I saw it in totality. Michael Rappaport's the only thing that kept in my mind because he really was like that character. And I no. Well, see, first of all, you gotta tell anybody you gotta watch more movies. This type of movie's been done over and over and over and over and over again. John Singleton tried to paint a picture as probably the most Spike Lee-est thing that he ever did. And had he trimmed the fat, it could have been a really good movie because I love the Michael Rappaport situation. Cube was interesting. Tower Banks was dull and boring. Lawrence Fishburne as the professor was interesting. The hippie white girl and all that. There was some things that they tried to do a lot. Regina King was cool, but it got scrambled up. Could have been better than it was. You know. Dangerous Minds was, like I said before, it was the old To Serve With Love, Sidney Poitier type of thing. Michelle Pfeiffer, white teacher in the same old cliches. Shania. Because I love loving basketball. I really did. Jada had appeal, but um Shania Lathan moved me more. No. The Eagles beat the Rams. The Eagles could beat every team on that list. They would be my number one. I have the Eagles first. I put the Patriots second, the Rams third, the Colts, and then whoever you want for fifth. I'm not sold on Denver, but they found a way to win. But I think the Eagles are because their defense. I mean, come on now. Their defense. Funny thing, the Rams beat Seattle, and everyone was still talking about Seattle's defense because of 4 interceptions. Wildest was ODB. Busta Rhymes does a lot of acting. I don't find his career to be that wild. But ODB's story was wild. He lived that role. What's happening? I'd have the Eagles, Patriots than the Rams. I think the Patriots been able to win with more conviction than the Broncos, and I think that the Patriots are more consistent. Oh, if the Patriots and the Rams could play, I could really settle that for sure. The Colts, big game. If they beat Kansas City, then they move up to my number 2 slot because then I think they're going to be hard to beat. As far as the Broncos, I got to see 4 quarters, and not against Dallas either. I got to see them against a real team. That's the only time I've seen them against a team that they look like they belong in that list. Every other game has been like, you got to be kidding. How is this team winning these games? That's the only game I saw in recent memory where I thought that, that was it. And beating Dallas doesn't excite me. So, no, I disagree with the rankings. Yeah, but Eagles will be number 1, Patriots number 2, Rams, and then the Colts for me. I don't think because they really they couldn't do anything. They couldn't do anything. Seattle's defense balled. It's just that Sam Darnold saw them ghosts, and Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold, and that's one of the reasons why, um, you know, uh, that's why the only reason why Seattle might have a handicap is because of Sam Darnold throwing picks. Their defensive, but I understand he's trying to take time off the clock. They have to be pretty conservative because they don't have the luxury of just turn on and turn it off, and they've blown games. See, if the Rams were known for blowing games, they'd be undefeated right now. So we'll see. Okay. Keep on hitting the poll up and feel free to come on with the questions and everything. So keep it coming. You and I, that's not enough for discussion. Come on now. You gotta do better than that. I like Charlie Singleton as a musician and what have you, but his solo career didn't really do much for me. Can he play? Yeah. But You and I is like an iconic song. Make a Move on Me was like a hood song. And it was cute. Price is Right. Because Family Feud only when you winning. But sometimes when that strikes come up and you ain't winning, it ain't fun. Price is Right was always entertaining. Because you could win money out in the audience. You could spin the wheel. I think the Rams offense is better. I know it's better because they lost that game to Philadelphia. And their defense is what usually gets them in trouble. Yeah, Price is Right in a blowout. I don't like Family Feud. Harvey has made it a must see after Richard Dawson, but Price is Right was always the reactions. You could hit big. I'll use that for a future one. More fun. That'll be a future one. Come on, come on, come on. You gotta do better than that. Do you really stop to think about what you ask? Of course, it's Paul Pierce in a blowout. He's a bigger, better version of Jimmy Butler. He scored 20 plus points. Jimmy Butler until it was the lock until it was the chip in Florida. He ain't never played like that. Pierce, listen. Let me just before you ask anything else. Anybody that's second tier or third tier is not better than Paul Pierce. Okay, so if you're below Dwayne Wade, below Dirk, please He won the chip against Kobe Bryant. He D'd up Kobe out the wheelchair, even though the antics. Miss me with that. He was a better leader than Jimmy Butler. You ask most people, they will tell you that if they know anything about basketball. Jimmy Butler ain't the player Paul Pierce is. Jimmy Butler's a tough dude. He goes at it. No, he wasn't. Who won the Finals MVP? Who D'd up on Kobe Bryant? I think you need to go back and watch the tapes. The Jeffersons. We'll never know. We'll never know. He got hurt. We'll never know. Good Times theme song. I like the music. David Grusin did it, but it was kind of twisted. Jefferson's was a pretty straightforward song, and you can still hear those clan hand claps. And Janae Dubois, much rest in peace, Jen Dubois. I don't know if I use the word gangster, but I goes with Tokyo. Let's see. Let me answer this question. Once we get past Tim Duncan, once we get past Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, we put Dirk Nowitzki in there. Depends on how we feel about Elvin Hayes. I said Tokyo, but I don't really like answering stuff like that though. Depends on what other power forward we got. You know. Now, do I think that he was? No, he's not. He's not better than Karl Malone. Stop. And he's not better than Barkley because Barkley was the best player on the Dream Team. Barkley was a league MVP, just like KG. And he led a team to the finals. And Karl Malone led a team to the finals. So stop. Now, if you want to say he was talented, I'll give you that. To say better, no. No. Karl Malone, 2-time league MVP. Karl Malone, third all-time leading scorer. KG had minimal offensive repertoires. He never got to 30,000 points. Look it up. Defense, but offensively, he ain't. Win shares, he ain't. Yeah, Giannis is, and Giannis will probably get the nod too. So yeah, that's another person. See, the problem with KG is this: he didn't win. He could have been like the Peyton Manning of power forwards, and he didn't win. And Duncan handed him on a platter year in and year out. And when he went to Boston, he played with Paul Pierce. Pierce was his equal in terms of scoring and impact. Come on now. You got to be kidding. You're comparing a heavyweight to a light heavyweight. Cool in the game. Come on now. And I do like the Daz Band for a few tracks, but no. That's not even funny. Heavyweight, light heavyweight. Dez Band ain't got enough in the trunks to hang with Cool in the Game. No. But if you go pick Cool Daz Band, pick their best song, not their second, third tier song. Anita Baker never fell off, so I don't know what you mean by that. She didn't fall off. She made the same record. No, he wasn't. LeBron told you that lie. No, he wasn't. If he was the best player in the world, how come he couldn't beat Shaq? He got a lifetime MVP award that year. He wasn't better than Shaquille O'Neal. And he wasn't better than Kobe. And they went 6 games, and it felt like the air conditioner was on because the Lakers didn't even break a sweat. I don't know about who he had. Shoot, he wasn't better than Shaq. And Cyndi Lauper, the one that, if you want to say fell off, Anita Baker never fell off. Cyndi Lauper, it don't matter who you got. Duncan is still considered the guy. Okay. I remember when the Trail Spree was playing with Minnesota. KG had to go to Boston. He never. No. I remember who went to the finals. So you can take your argument how you want. Now, if you want to say KG was better in 05, 06, I'll give you that. Even though, no, he wasn't. Because Shaq in 04 with the first year of Miami got robbed out of MVP. So stop. God, who you think he be back like you don't have a memory? Shaq got robbed out of MVP in '04 when they gave it to Steve Nash. Miami had the same record as Phoenix. For all that specialized offense that Phoenix did, Shaq had the same 20 and 10. Miss me with that. LeBron been telling that story about KG. I say top 3 or 4, 5, but he was not better than Shaq or Duncan or Kobe in that time period. And he didn't lead anybody deep like Jason Kidd did with the Nets. Man. Sometimes I think people just like to argue for the sake of arguing because, you know, now that's a battle right here. Tell me something good. But I love them both though. I love them both. But I have to give it to because it's an iconic song. It just carries more weight. She actually co-wrote that song too, but she ain't get no credit for it. But I'll Be Good to You had a nice cold vamp though. It took from Sign of Family Stone Stand, but I like it though. I wanna. And they had some feel good songs too, by the way. But Rufus and Shaka Khan was more. Celine, because once you get past the piercing of Mariah, she doesn't really emote more than that. Celine Dion, when you hear All By Myself, she actually hit in a tone with Mariah barometers. She just don't have no soul. Nope. Nope. Because one thing I will tell you about that sight on scene, that Bulls team needed every bit when they got to the finals to win, especially after they got past Seattle. The last two were Utah. They had a real grind. Horace Grant was not seeing what Dennis Rodman could do. That's not tough at all. I listened to them both, and Celine Dion all by myself alone. Mariah ain't never hit no note like that woman did on All by Myself. Now I listen to more Mariah as an artist, but Celine Dion had better range as far as range go. She can't hit no notes like Mariah, but Mariah can't. Mariah has no voice depth. There's the difference. If Mariah had some voice depth, believe me, Denise Williams, Minnie Riperton, that would have been her offshoot. Celine got her beat. And I don't even listen to Celine Dion like that because Celine Dion is one of the most soulless, Milky Way, but she has energy, but she doesn't have the depth that Celine had. If she did, her instrument would be more pronounced as opposed to come across whimsical. That's how I feel. Oh, Eddie Murphy getting mixed reaction. Okay, that's interesting. That's a whole different argument there. That's a whole different argument. And I love me some Betty Wright, especially when she did with Peter Brown, Dance with Me, and then when she worked with Richard Dimplefields, and yeah. But that's some gut bucket singing there. The people ain't ready for that. You gotta get your Tabasco sauce and Liam pepper out for that. Ain't nobody ready for that. If you've had those sauces, you know exactly where I'm going with that. They ain't ready for that. KJ, you talking too deep. Betty Wright was the truth. She was the truth. Bad. Precursor to what Angie Stone was trying to do and others. I'm just telling you. We had some kind of artistry back in the day that they were like second tierish. But in today's time, if we being all things equal, smash everything out this now. Betty Wright was cold. Whitney's gonna win because she had more impact than what she hit with all dynamics. But I love Donna Summer. Donna Summer to me had probably the better material. But I gotta give Whitney the edge vocally. Cause I always love you alone. I mean, I know that's right. What we saw, the only thing I'd say about if I came along today is that I'd have more access to save a lot more money. the technology. But for what we got to experience, no. We saw the real. And so when people say, you go off the lawn and I said, no, it's not about that. It's just that we had some standards. We had people that made you this is a soulless world. It's got all this stuff and don't know what to do with it. For me, it's Tina Marie. Because Mariah did that All My Life song on the Glitter soundtrack, which was a Tina Marie type of knockoff Rick James produced. No, Tina Marie, because Mariah ain't never done no song like Fire and Desire. Nothing. Nothing. Could she sing the song? Because she emoted? No. If she could emote like that, she'd be the baddest artist. Why you think Mariah is still fishing for credibility? You got that right. You say it again. Say it loud for them in the back row who can't hear you. Because that's what we used to know. People got stuff handed to them, and everybody's like on this American Idol tip. And that's in all walks of everything: sports, music, movies. It's just not the same. And you just can tell. I see an actor like Chadwick Boseman who had that. There are a few that come along that I see and I go, yeah. But a lot of what I see is just by the numbers. And then you got to see some lame like Sabrina Carpenter wearing Pharrell's clothes and they up here acting like they doing something. I was like, get out of my face with this mess. It's ridiculous. That's what we just succumb to. So I don't want to hear. Why you think people got excited about Michael Jackson a minute plus clip for the movie? Why you think that happened? Why? Because that was a star. That's what is missing. You ain't even gotta be no big MJ fan, but you saw something like that was like, wow, y'all had it like that? Yeah, 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 yeah. You know what I'm talking about. Shoot, Rick James comes on the stage, Prince come on the stage, James Brown come on the stage, Aretha Franklin come on stage, Whitney come on the stage, Lionel Richie did his thing on the stage, Michael, I mean, Steve Wonder, don't get me started. Tina Turner did, I mean, come on now. Barry White, I mean, Isaac Hayes, I mean, come on now. You don't have nothing. And matter of fact, Michael Jackson's thing would have been a TikTok standards because that was a minute clip. And that thing had electricity. Shh. Give me a break. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So I don't mind if people say, oh, you just, nah, I'll take what I got. Well, if R. Kelly wasn't locked up, but they don't have what you got that's out now. And all of them three combined are broke Michaels. Ball broke. Oh yeah, well, it depends on what year you saw them. Yeah, if you saw them late 70s, early 80s, that was a stank fest show. They still had some bump in the 90s, but if they peak prime at 77 to about 84, especially if you had Bernie Worrell playing, um, mm, that's the baddest band as far as like straight out playing goes. Because the only bands I would put on the same caliber with P Funk, far as playing for just straight instrumentation, would probably be Kool and the Gang and Earth Wind. But P Funk, oh yeah, well then you were there and then they peak and prime. You saw the cold. You saw the cold. Was Junie Morrison there then? Was Junie on stage? Junie was a bad boy too. One man band too. Bad cat. They had a who's who of cats that could run circles and play. The only problem I had with P Funk was words and music. That's the only problem. Because the grooves was tight, but they sometimes like as far as getting it, but as far as playing goes, please. The one of the best stories I remember was this white cat did this. He was talking about the difference. Uh, he said the difference between Parliament and Kiss, and Parliament was better musicians, but Kiss was white and had their makeup. Oh yeah, he did. Um, Aguilera for me, except she never used her voice the right way, because they both could do Etta James, and she did tear up It's a Man's World. Aguilera should have took a page out of Linda Ronstadt's book, and she didn't. Could have had an ultimate career. Should have been. Should have had a Linda Ronstadt for her generation. Should have been. Should have been. Yeah, but only if they release them. If they release them where they actually matter, not because they water them down. And why it takes so long? Why he wait? He done more damage. He done more damage by not putting them out sooner. That's not gonna change anything because he's doing it now because of pressure, and they're gonna find a way to whitewash it. But it still doesn't explain why Giselle Maxwell's getting preferential treatment. Bottom line is, if you had the Supreme Court and people doing what they're supposed to do, Trump wouldn't even be in that White House right now. Yeah. Well, that's a heck of a statement. You went from talking about the Epstein files to Eddie Murphy party all the time. But maybe you saw the poll question. Feel free to hit the like too. And if you want to take the poll, feel free to. Bernard Edwards. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because his bottom was just as iconic on so many things. I mean, when you think about his grooves for hip hop, R&B, pop, all in one, Bootsy can play, and Bootsy's characterization, I think, exceeded him. He was a good guitarist. Bootsy bad, but Bernard Edwards, man, what when you think about the groove that laid the foundation, it's there. And it makes a compelling argument because Bernard Edwards never gets his due. And he had a cool, clean, cold pocket. I like Bootsy a lot, but I'd have to give Bernard Edwards the slight edge. Well, different situation when he played with JB because JB put an emphasis on that. Whereas when he got with P Funk, one thing I'll say about Benson, I've never seen another musician who was in the jazz circle in particular, where his audience let him do jazz and pop and not call him a sellout. He's the only cat I know. He's the only cat I know. Because Miles Davis got hit with that. When Marcellus got dissed, people got dissed. Benson was the only cat I know who could do a R&B record here, a pop record there, a jazz record there, and tie his shoes on Sunday, and no one said jack. I don't know who he got down with or how he got down. I have not seen another cat. And I'm gonna tell you something. R&B pop acts have gotten dissed, got called sellouts, got called George Benson. I ain't never seen nobody go, "Oh, he sold out. He's horrible." No, they embraced him. He's one on one. Now, where we rank him all time, some you call him the GOAT. I never hear anyone call him the GOAT, but I'll say this: he's in his own lane. I put him in that rarefied company with someone like Sade who does a record when she wanna do it, she don't wanna do it, and people still lock and go see it. Put her in that lane with Frankie Beverly and Mays. Didn't even drop nothing new for 30 years. People still went to go see it. Had it like that. And I put in a company with Al Jarreau, who was a George Benson buddy. Scattered all kinds of styles. Didn't matter. Yeah, because he's very susceptible to injuries. Uh, and he's lighting the cakes, and they gotta figure out a way to balance him out. That's not about his. It's about his size, by how he stretches. But again, he's taking a beating, and they got to safeguard him with a supporting cast. That's their problem, you know. So you know, it's a very again. You can get hurt quickly, and momentum can shift. So we'll see. You know, I think he's playing really good though. But again, it's gonna be But I think he needs a better supporting cast. They need a bench. You know, well, he's Young's. Actually, he's better than Giannis was early on. Giannis didn't get good till like his year fourth or fifth. Wemby's got a better natural shot. The problem is lighting the cakes, and he doesn't have the right supporting cast. He don't have a Drew Holiday. He wouldn't. See, I answered that question right there. And Giannis didn't have much of a shot. He just learned. Remember, James Harden said he was 7 foot and he jumped on everybody. He just developed an outside shot in his free throws. Oh, Commodores are gonna win that one. Commodores, because that's a classic. The Intruders, and I like the main ingredient, but the Intruders. I want to know your name, Little Sonny. Are you kidding me? I listened to the Intruders the other night. Cowboys and girls, and love is like a baseball game, and I always love my mama. Are you kidding me? The main ingredients, everyone plays the fool and had another cut. Intruders got the cuts, yo. They got the cuts. People forget about how good the Intruders were. And don't forget, together, together, they got cuts. No, Wimby couldn't endure with those guys. Mm-mm, mm-mm. I saw that era. Mm-mm. Rick Smiths would be a problem for him. Now, he was more athletic than Yao Ming. He got a little bit more movement. But again, they need to get the guard play tight. They gotta have a tight bench. They don't play no defense. And so he gets caught napping and slacking. So again, he has upside, but he's got a lot of downside. So it's gonna be a work in progress. It's gonna be a work in progress. And I like him, but uh no. Two songs. But the Intruders had what? Gambling Huff was all over the Intruders, yeah. Yeah. Don't Want to Be Lonely is a tight song. And I love these couple songs, but come on now. You asking me about how would I rank them? Because Earth, Wind, and Fire is going to be number one. And then I got to take, and I don't like to compare bands and groups. It's two different entities. Earth, Wind, and Fire, Lakeside are bands. Blue Magic was a group. So I don't like to do that. So I'll just stick to Earth, Wind, and Fire over Lakeside because Blue Magic was a vocal group. Not the same thing. I don't put groups and bands in the same conversation. Blue Magic belongs with Main Ingredients and Intruders and OJs and that, and the stylistic Delphonics. Hell, Melvin Blue Note's got a better catalog, but I do like Blue Magic though. Circus Show and Lock You Up. Yeah, Harold Melvin Blue Note's got a better catalog, but I do like Blue Magic though. Yeah, there's a difference between groups and bands because a group that I see, vocal group, that's not the same as a band, and any writing and all this stuff they do in their sound. Their voices are instruments, but they're used differently too. What you mean YMC? You mean the Village People versus the Doobie Brothers? That's the Doobie Brothers for me, and I don't. Again, that's not a comparison I would really use. Doobie Brothers was better than that. If he do, he do. I believe that he probably wants to get traded. I believe there's something going on. The Doobie Brothers in a blowout. The Village People were catchy, but the Doobies actually played their instruments. They got a Tiny Desk performance now that's on YouTube. So Michael McDonald alone. Victor Willis was a good lead singer for the Village People, but you know. Okay. Yep. That was his big solo song, but we talking about the Doobie Brothers and taking it to the street and You Belong to Me. I'm going with the Fifth Dimension. I like the delegations, but the Fifth Dimension got catalog. Marilyn McCool and Billy Davis Jr. are underrated as all get out, and they got a catalog that won't quit. Okay. I'm gonna be on for 5 more minutes. Then man, I gotta get ready to go. Don't take the fifth dimension though. Please hit the poll and hit the likes up. And as like I said earlier, I'll be back on tomorrow. The whispers for me, though, I do like the Shy Lights. I think Eugene Ruckert was a bad dude, but the whispers I listen to far more. The whispers are in my top three male vocal groups ever, top three or four. Bee Gees, better songs for me. I do like Chicago's brass section. In fact, I was listening to Chicago a few weeks ago, but the Bee Gees, they've changed their course. When both these acts changed their styles, the Bee Gees went into a whole nother gear. And Barry Gibb's songwriting, yeah. But I do like, I do like Chicago. They got stuff that I like, but the Bee Gees for me, easily. Just as songwriters. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I like Godfrey in spurts. Dion Cole in sports. Corey Holcomb has moments. Adele is probably one of my favorites. But I'm not really blown away by them five though. But I'll take Bernie Mac over all of them. Sorry, you live in. I'm just saying, I'd take Bernie over all of them. Mary Jane that was that bass line and groove. I do like All Night Long, but Mary Jane for the W. And when you mention Chicago, I gotta go with straight Bernie. More iconic, I would say, if I had to say, if I, if I had to say who I'm gonna pick, I would probably say TLC. Then I say the Mary Jane Girls. Then I would cut Destiny's Child because TLC and the Mary Jane Girls had bigger iconic songs. So gotta cut Destiny's Child. Yeah, I'm gonna start Mary Jane Girls because they had more fresher songs. But TLC will stay. But Destiny Child will get cut. So Needy. The only thing I really loved about 779-311 was the fact that the Lynn drum machine program that was used. I will. Yeah, well, I'm getting ready to go in just a little bit. Thank you for letting me know that CWS though. Yeah, I didn't take it personal. I understand because things do happen. I got to go with Knee Deep. I loved everything about Knee Deep. 779-311, I loved the programming. I thought that was the most coldest thing. And I liked the stabs that he did with it. I still want to know if old boy from Tower Power, that was some connected. I came on about an hour ago. Hour ago. It was an hour ago. I was on for an hour. I usually try to get on about an hour ago. So I'm usually pretty consistent, unless, of course, because if you see a lot of people on, that means I've been on for a minute. So Angela Bofield first, Stephanie Mills second, Angela Winbush third. Bofield was scary versatile. She's the only person I know could hang with Phyllis Hyman toe for toe. And then Stephanie Mills was a powerhouse. Stephanie got Angela Winbush beat. I like Winbush as a keyboard player and all that, but Stephanie Mills hit me more. I'm going in 4 more minutes as I got to split. Catalog is better as a talent, no, but catalog was better. He didn't miss a beat. He looked good, and I'm gonna tell you something. No one's talking about them because if they can get healthy, they could be a problem in the playoffs. No one's talking about it. Everyone's in love with Seattle and the Rams, but hey, don't sleep on the 49ers. You know, Purdy knows how to play, but then again, you got to remember who they beat. I don't talk about scrubs. Listen, 451 is an area code. Get to over 500, maybe we can talk. No one's talking about y'all. She did good with Renee, but I don't look at her as some great artistry. I don't. She could play, but I don't. That's why the 49ers won't win. But I'm telling you, they gonna be in games. Stephanie Mills was a better vocalist. Angela Bofield could play. That percussion was bad. I'm just saying. I'm not gonna answer that because that's not even a fair comparison. The Weather Girls didn't even really get a fair chance. But I take the Weather Girls, better singers, pretty much. Yeah, but her whole thing was kind of tied to Renee, and I really wasn't that big on her solo career. I did like Treat You Right. That came out 30 plus years ago with Chucky Booker, but yeah. Okay, keep on hitting the likes. Hit the poll. 86%, not bad. Sis Sledge had the more iconic songs, so I like the Jones Girls vocals better. Adele is in my probably like somewhere between 101 to 201. I only like a few of her songs. I ain't the biggest Adele fan. I think she's all right, but I ain't feeling it like that. Sister Sledge got a better catalog, but the Weather Girls could sing. They used to sing for Sylvester. Top 20 compared to who? Do I need to like bring out a booklet of it? You gonna buy her album sales? Yes. If I go by sales, yes. If I go by actual talent, no. Yep. Nights of Egypt is tight. Aretha. That was a good song. I liked it. I like Smooth Sailing. Thank you. That's what I feel, Charlene. Exactly. My sentiments. You said Shakira or Madonna? Of course, Madonna. Come on now. Catalog. Shakira ain't got no catalog like that, and she ain't that interesting. We don't move them hips. We don't trip. Madonna got better catalog. Okay, I will come back to tomorrow. I'm gonna cut it right now. Been getting pretty lively lately, so I hope everybody come back tomorrow. Just remember, like an hour ago from where I was today, and I may come on a little bit early. Depends. Well, it makes you think I don't like Karen White. She's cool. I'm not babyface. I didn't fall out with her. Babyface fell out with her. You talking to the wrong person. I ain't babyface. Warriors gotta win that game. Karen was cool, but she wasn't nothing special. I mean, I take Shantae Moore over Karen White. That's a chick that's underrated. She got Shantae Moore can sing, but that, you know, but I know. Golden State better win that game. They don't, but I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna get it bounce out. I'll be back tomorrow though. Hope everybody stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. Appreciate everybody coming through. Let's do it again tomorrow. We'll catch you tomorrow. Come on tomorrow. I will be back tomorrow. Because after tomorrow, I'm not coming back till Sunday. So catch me tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.